NIH requirements for foreign subrecipients. I think the first time we saw one of these notices was in May, and everyone, rightfully so, had a little bit of a like, oh my gosh, NIH, what are you doing? So we provided comments, and they came back with the final updated policy. The link to the notice is there if you want to read through it entirely. But I think just some of the key highlights to pay attention to. So this was effective January 1, 2024, and it requires all, that means existing and new subawards to foreign entities, that they have to include a term that subrecipient must provide access to, right? So, and that's not prescriptive. So you have some, as an institution, you have some flexibility as to how you have access to copies of all lab notebooks, data, documentation, and this is the key piece, right? Supports the research outcomes as described in the progress report, right? So it's not every piece of data generated, it's not every page of a lab notebook. It's what the research, if it's in the RPPR and is supporting research outcomes, that's the data that you need to have access to. And it is no less than once per year in alignment with the timing requirements of the RPPR submission. So when it first came out, it was very broad, and it was once every 3 months, and they didn't include the carve out for research outcomes. So it was a compromise. Also, it goes on to say that NIH expects recipients to update existing subaward agreements to include this requirement within 60 days. So if you have not yet issued modifications to all of your international NIH funded subrecipients, you have about a week and a half left to do that. But NIH, also acknowledged that, depending on the size of the portfolio, that you could request an extension past the 60 days. Excuse me. And I've heard from other institutions that they've requested the extension and it's come back with a yes. Like they're not hammering hard on, approving that extension. They're also suggesting, so again, suggest, not requiring, that adding language for international subrecipients at the time of proposal, that they are acknowledging that this will be a requirement if the award is funded. And NIH has been very clear that if they are unable, if the international subrecipient is unable to accept this language, either the subaward agreement may not be issued for new awards or terminated for existing awards. So right now we have been tracking all the modifications that we have sent out. If we have not heard from them, we got ours out by the end of December. If we haven't heard from them, we are now at the phase of like, well, why are they not responding? Do we need to terminate? And so that would go, that would have a big impact on the project itself, right? So it could be very interrupting to the science.